Mecca works in a very big organization. As a branch manager, he is very rich. He just got married to a beautiful young girl named Selah. Their marriage was going well. They were happy, but Mecca had an obsession. He could not get satisfied by one woman. At first, he tried to keep it a secret by dating other women outside. His wife Selah found out and confronted him. Then he apologized. One night, Mecca woke his wife in the middle of the night to explain his obsession. He was crying and telling her he doesn't know what to do. He said, "I have tried all I can to stop this obsession. I have prayed. I have fasted. I have even gone to see some other spiritualist, but there is no solution." He assured Selah that he loves her very much. That was why, even though he knows his obsession, he agreed to marry her and make her his wife. But now he sees he can't help himself. He busted into tears. Selah sat there next to her husband, confused. She didn't know what to do or how to deal with the sincere confession of her husband. She felt he must really love her to tell her about his pain. After a while she said, in a low small voice, "Our marriage is for better or for worse, so I will stand by you and help you through this obsession, till we find a permanent solution." Mecca's face lighted up with joy. He said, "You will help me?" Selah said, "Yes, I will help you, but from now on, I will be the one to bring the girls for you, so you don't have to go looking for any girl behind my back, or else the deal is off." Mecca was happy. He said, "Yes, I agree." He felt a sense of relief and he hugged his wife and said, "You are the best wife in the world." So, Selah will go out and look for a beautiful young lady to bring for her husband, and he will sleep with them and pay them at the end of their service. But when she goes to look for a solution for her husband, to see if he can get rid of the obsession, Mecca will never show up for the appointment. Selah has made plans for several counseling classes with professionals, pastors and even spiritualists, but each time she makes plans for her husband Mecca to go seek for help, Mecca will either claim he has a work meeting in a different state, or he will make excuse that he is working late and never show up. This happened for over 6 months, till a pastor called Selah and told her that her husband is enjoying the affair and he is not willing to change and get help, and that she is helping her husband Mecca commit adultery. That was when it dawned on Selah that her husband Mecca is not willing to change, so she decided not to help Mecca get ladies anymore. That evening, when Mecca came home from work, she told him she will no longer bring women for him to sleep with, that he is not willing to get help. Mecca got mad. He said he enjoys the ladies his wife brings for him more than the ones he finds himself, and for the first time, Selah saw her husband's true color. She realized she has been fooled for thinking her husband was willing to change. Mecca threatened her and said to her, "If you stop bringing ladies for me to sleep with, I will have no choice but divorce you and pull back all the support I give your family. Let me see how your family will survive." Selah was shocked. She didn't believe that her good, loving, kind-hearted husband can suddenly turn on her. She wanted to agree and accept that they get a divorce, but she was already 3 months pregnant, and she thought to herself, "How will I go back home to my family and end my marriage? If not for this pregnancy, I will leave, but now, I have no choice." So Selah continued bringing different ladies for her husband Mecca. Few months later, Selah gave birth to a baby girl, and her mother came to visit them to help her daughter after delivery, as this is an African tradition. Everything was going well till one night. Mecca, Selah's husband, came to her in the bedroom and gave her the most shocking news of her life. He said to her, "Can you organize your mother for me to sleep with her?" Selah was shocked. She replied, "Sleep with who?" "My own mother." Mecca said, "Yes, anytime she is talking with me, my manhood will stand and never go down, till she goes away. I have been trying to hold myself, but it is not working. I really need to have her. Please, can you organize her for me?" Selah was shocked. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. She said, "Is it this bad? You want me to allow you sleep with my mother? That is an abomination." Mecca said, "Listen, woman, if you cannot do what I ask, then you and your mother must pack your things and leave my house, so that the temptation will end and you will never come back to this house again." Selah stood there speechless. She sat on the bed, wondering what kind of trouble this is. For some days, she and her husband did not exchange a single word. Sometimes, Mecca would come home from work and shout at her unnecessarily, and her mother became worried. One evening, she called her daughter Selah and told her, "Please, listen to your husband. A good wife keeps a home and a foolish wife breaks it. Make sure your husband is always happy. Don't forget he is the head of this house, and also, he is doing a lot for us." Selah smiled and said, "Mom, you will not understand." Few days later, after so much pestering from Mecca, Selah finally agreed to help him. She went to her mother several times but could not find a way to open her mouth and tell her mother that her own husband Mecca wants to sleep with her, and that is the reason why they have been fighting. So she told Mecca, "I have agreed to help you, but I cannot open my mouth and tell this to my mother." Mecca said, "It's fine, don't worry." Selah felt relieved. She thought Mecca had given up on the obsession. Few days later, Mecca came back from work excited. He told Selah, "I have found the solution." He brought out a black native spice and told Selah she must put this in her mother's food, that once her mother eats it, she will sleep off and not know what is going on, and he will go in and sleep with her. Selah was disturbed, but agreed and spiked her mother's food with the spice. And it worked. Her mother slept off after eating, and Mecca went in and slept with her 4 times. When he was done, Mecca asked Selah to go and clean up her mother. Selah, who was in tears and heartbroken, went in and cleaned up her mother. Later in the evening, Selah's mother woke up and told her daughter Selah that she feels violated, that somebody slept with her. Selah denied it and said it's impossible. But her mother kept on saying, "I know what I am feeling." 2 days later, Selah's mother got dressed and Selah asked her, "Where are you going?" She said, "I am going to the hospital. I really feel violated and I must find out what is wrong with me." That was when Selah broke down in tears and told her mother the whole truth. She was crying and begging her mother to forgive her, but her mother packed her things and left. Later that evening, when her mother got home, Selah's father called her daughter Selah and told her, "From today, you cease to be my daughter." His voice echoed with very strong anger, the kind of anger that Selah had only witnessed once since she was born. Her father continued, "For you to allow your husband rape my wife, you cease to be my daughter, and expect to hear from our lawyer." Selah became scared. She begged her father, but he refused to listen and ended the call. She called her mother, but she didn't pick her calls. As her husband Mecca came home that evening, Selah told him what happened. Mecca simply said, "When two marries, they become one, so you and I are one. You have to stand by me, your husband, call your family and deny everything. Tell your mother it is a lie, it never happened. Even if the case goes to court, stand by me and deny the whole thing. It is your word against hers, because if you allow her believe such things, it will become a big problem. We might end up in jail, and if you don't deny it, I will divorce you." Selah became confused. She didn't know what to do. She has a 6-month-old daughter. She didn't want to lose her husband, and she also didn't want to lose her family. The next day, Selah's mother sent her a copy of a doctor's report. showing that she was truly raped, and told her they will surely meet in court. Selah was running out of ideas. She knows if the thing goes to court it will not just be her word against her mother's, because the cloth her mother wore that day showed her husband's semen, so she quickly packed her things and went home to her family. As she came into her father's house, she found her father and mother sitting in the living room. As her father saw her, he shouted in rage, "Who opened the gate for this woman?" Selah fell to her knees and started crying. She begged her father, saying she is very sorry, that her husband pushed her into it, and she didn't know how she agreed to such things, and if they go to court she will go to jail, and if not for her sake, her father should consider her little baby his granddaughter. Her mother said, "I will forgive you because of your daughter, but I will never forgive your husband. He must pay for what he has done, but your father must decide on how he wants to handle the matter." She stood up and left the living room, leaving Selah with her father. Selah knelt before her father begging. Her father said, "The lawyer said if you guys are found guilty it is 7 years for your husband and maybe 4 years for you. But even if I forgive you, on one condition, just agree that your marriage to Mecca is over." Selah said yes, she agrees, that she doesn't know how to live with him anymore, because this is not the life she wanted as a married woman. Her father took a deep breath and said, "Come and sit next to me." Selah quickly hurried and sat next to her father, and they started talking. 2 days later, Selah came home to find her husband Mecca sitting in the living room with another young lady, watching television. From the way they were sitting, it was obvious they had just finished having fun. As her husband saw her, he said, "I hope you have fixed your parents' issue, because no man can threaten me. I have done a lot for your family. This thing is not my fault, I can't help myself." Selah said, "So that is why just in 2 days, you bring another woman into our home?" Mecca said, "You know I cannot help it. If I can, I will stop." Selah walked into the room and left them there. Later that evening, after the lady had left, Mecca called her to get something for him to eat, that he is hungry. She prepared food and served him. As he finished eating, he asked her, "So how did you solve the case with your family?" Selah smiled and said, "First, this marriage is over, and secondly, you will never sleep with any other woman for the rest of your life." Mecca was looking at her confused. He said, "What are you talking about?" Selah went into the room and packed all her things and came out. Mecca said to her, "I thought you came back for good. What is going on? Why are you leaving?" Selah smiled and said, "Just the way you brought something for me to put in my own mother's food, so you can sleep with her. My father gave me something to put in your own food, so you will never sleep with any other woman for the rest of your life." Mecca was shocked. He said, "You did what? What did you put in my food?" Selah smiled and handed over the divorce letter to him and told him, "This is our divorce letter. You have always threatened to divorce me, so sign it. My lawyers will contact you in some days." Mecca sat there, looking confused, while Selah took her things and left the house. 2 days later, Mecca called Selah on the phone crying. He said, "Your mom went to my work and got me fired. Now your lawyer said you are demanding 80% of my properties, and if I don't give it to you, I will go to jail for raping your mother, and to crown it all, my manhood does not work anymore. Selah, why have you done this to me? You have ruined my life." Selah said, "But can you pee?" Mecca said, "Yes, I can, but it doesn't rise anymore. I cannot make love. I have tried everything I know and it's no longer working." "What did your father do to me? So what about my daughter?" Selah said, "We will take care of her till she is old enough to look for her father. but if you come close to her, you are going to jail. Mecca shouted, "This is not fair." Sele said, "My mother said I should tell you, you messed with the wrong family, good luck," and she cut the call. Mecca sat there crying. Story ends. Moral of this story: before you give advice, make sure you know the full story, and also, don't let anyone make you do things that will end you in jail. Life is too short for second chances. I remain Uncle Sam. Stay safe.